On to BB with the project. Now, you do remember that the Ghana Student Education Fund and Generation of Honor, along with Be Bold, have come up with the Ghana Youth Forum, where we've basically gone around to all over Ghana to sort of have a debate between students to find out really what their ideas on how to further education is. Now, as promised, we're going to be having a debate right here in studio. On my right, of course, we have O'Reilly Senior High School, and on my left, we have West African Senior High School, and they are ready to fire it up right here. Now, before we go on, I do have to thank our sponsors, our IT partners, Dream Oval, African Development Bank, Lincoln Community School, Ministry of Education, and La Palm Royal Beach, of course. And for the finalists, RLG is giving away laptops and phones, so it's going to be amazing and you just can't miss out. To Generation of Honor and the Ghana Student Education Fund for putting this together with Be Bold, it's been just really amazing seeing all these kids putting their minds together and debating on these issues that's going to further our educational system. Well, let me not give too much away. So guys, fired up!
Ready to go!
There you go. Alright, so let's start with introductions from O'Reilly High School over here. What's going on?
My name is Caleb Kuda from O'Reilly Senior High School.
And I am Claudia Ba at Sabri O'Reilly Senior High School.
Perfect. And you?
Samson Naduti Jr., West Africa Senior High School.
Roger Seneca, West Africa Senior High.
Alright, so the debate, the question at hand is, what sort of policies do we have for our educational system? So we have the two sides right here. You can take part in this. From this moment, make sure you start texting your to short code 1901, text E space Be Bold, and basically just pick your side. And the winners, well, if you're voting, if you're taking part in this, you could stand a chance of winning free tickets to the event on the 30th of July. So listen in closely and start voting. Alright, so random pick. I'm now gonna pick on this side. So can we just go with your first policy and let's hear it?
Right. I would first want to ask, what is teaching? The word teach, what does it stand for? And I'll tell you that the word teach, the T in the teach stands for train, and then it continues each. So it means that a teacher has the responsibility to train each of his students. But what do we see in Ghana? 20 by 30 centimeters square, and then over 65 students are inside there, and that teacher is teaching everybody. How does he mark everybody's scripts? And if it was an essay, how would he do that? We will only do dictations, and each and every one of us will exchange our books and then we will mark them. Teachers wouldn't take critical look at what we have done, so that we have so many graduates in Ghana today, but they don't really have that training. So many of them have been to school, they have been through our educational system, but they don't have that training. And so what is education if we don't train the people? We have to train each and every one of the students we have there, and it all boils down to infrastructure. You can't tell us to go for 4 years 4 years in the high school, yet come to the classrooms and we are packed like something, the girls jumping over the desks and the boys are happy here and there. That is not education. Education must be in an environment where one will have a sound mind. Until then, I don't think we are really educating our people. And so really, we have to train each of these students. One teacher must be to 25 or 15 students, so that we have adequate training enough from our teachers, so that after school, we have home sense, school sense, everything come together, we have a very beautiful country. Thank you very much.
All right, perfect. Off to you.
Well, basically, we really appreciate the fact that the youth are being given an opportunity to come out with their suggestions concerning the educational policy. I would like to look at things from another side. Now you've got all the infrastructure, you get teachers coming to class to teach you and everything, but then you don't really get a chance to think for yourself. Most of the time you see students being packed up with so many stuff to learn, but then the teachers aren't really training the students to think for themselves. They are rather being trained to think or to take things people have learned several years ago and other things, and do not really get a chance to think for themselves, to come up with innovative ideas, but always have to toe the line of the teachers and always have to say, always have to take this route instead of trying another side and seeing what you can come up with your skills which you have inside you. So for we students in West Africa Senior High School, we believe that at the teen years, everyone should be sent to a specialized school. For instance, if I'm good in the arts, I think I deserve to be in the art school. Than to combine each and everyone in one school, and some will be studying science, arts, and all those things without the necessary resources. So instead of having so many senior high schools all doing the same kind of course, let's just have specialized schools, okay? So that where if I feel I'm a scientist and I love the science field, I'll go to the science school. If I feel I love the arts field, I'll go to the art school. If I love music, I'll go to music school, so that we can train people who are technically good, okay? Because Ghana doesn't need people who know how to read. Ghana needs people who can do things with their hands, and that's why I believe Nkrumah was very, very, very critical concerning technical education. So I believe that specialized school is the way forward to the development of Ghana than to get senior high schools offering subjects without the necessary resources.
Now to O'Reilly, on this side, you had mentioned before about the issues of true and poor in the classrooms. What do you think that the curriculum can do differently to ensure that the students that come out, that sort of leave the high school, take out with them? So in terms of leadership and creativity, so they're really an all-rounded person as opposed to someone that's just book smart.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, the youth of yesterday are the leaders of today. And so if we are facing certain problems with the administration of the country, that means that the educational system of yesterday didn't favor them. And so what would happen to the youth of today, who will become the leaders of tomorrow? So for the situation of the true and poor to be curbed, the teachers have to create the impression that we do not learn only for examination purposes, but we learn for a lifelong activity. Because I can boldly say that some of us, right from JHS, when we got to the SHS, we had forgotten almost everything that we learned. And from SHS 1, you get to Form 2 and you forget most of what you learned in Form 1. And that is what happens. So when you get to your final year, you have to wrap up and you have to go back to your Form 1 notes. But that is not how it's supposed to be. The teachers create the impression that we learn just for examination. But that shouldn't be so. It should be a lifelong activity so that even after completing school, we can apply it everywhere we go. And then it will help the nation to move on for our own benefit.
Yes. Now you can take part in this discussion also on www.thebeboldshow.com, and also vote already for who you think should be winning this particular debate that we're having on set right now. All you have to do, send a text message to short code 1901, leave a text E, leave a space, be bold, and then your winner, either O'Reilly Senior High School or West African Senior High School. Now, my last question is, so then what is the solution to this problem?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Considering the Ghanaian constitution, the Article 25 of the constitution tells us that there should be basic, free and compulsory educational system. The question is, who should be held responsible when people are not forced to go to school? You go to a village I know, far north, Napanduri, for example. What happens? You come and see children following their parents to farm. Why? Because they are telling them that they get food from what they do. Education, they do not get the benefit from it. So my question to the government or to the stakeholders today is, if there should be a free and compulsory basic education, who should be held responsible for it if this is not done? Because we don't know who should be held responsible, and that is a problem, because we need to solve this problem. And if we solve this problem, then our educational problems are being solved. We are failing to plan, and failure to plan is planning to fail. Considering what happened back in the Alan Benz constitution, Alan Benz had 10-year developmental plan with which education was included. Considering the Gettysburg constitution, he had 10-year developmental plan. Education was a factor. Recently, the president went and said during his tour to the Western region that education is the bedrock for development. Now our educational system is in a mess. So does it mean we won't develop? That means that if we have to develop, then we have to solve this problem now. And how do we solve it? Identifying the problem is almost equal to 50% of the problem being solved. So we need to identify the problem, and that's why we are here. West Africa is here to make sure the problems are identified. The end to these problems is not just at La Palm where we win, no. But the problem, when the problem ends, that is when we have won the contest.
All right, on to you.
Okay, and so that will exactly be when at La Palm, when not just O'Reilly and Was had one, but when the problem actually is solved. What are we saying? What is the need for education? The educational system of every country must be tailored towards problem solving and the development of that particular country. We shamefully pride ourselves in calling ourselves developing countries. And recently I heard we have attained middle income status. That's good news for us. But I'm saying that our educational system must be tailored towards solving problems. And we are being taught to see problems and then run away from them. We have to be taught problem solving skills, critical thinking, and then work ethics, because we have so many graduates in Ghana now. We have so many academicians, but look at our gutters, look at the streets, look at our lighting systems. Some of us are sleeping in without lights, without water for so long a time. Why? And so all O'Reilly Senior High School is saying is that there must be infrastructure. When the infrastructure is there, we have to imbue into these young people problem solving skills, work ethics, and so many more. We don't just have to end it there. We have to recruit teachers who are passionate about what they are doing, who should not misplace themselves in teaching, because they have to live. Man must live. So we are doing something, I remember back in JHS, our teacher was asking us what we would like to do when we go. And we all were saying it. And a friend of mine said, well, sir, after school, I'd like to do a bit of teaching, after which I'll find a better job to do. And our teacher was like, hey, Jacob, you've insulted me, And so teaching must be a noble profession. It must not be work to seek money, because no, that is not it. Teaching must raise leaders of influence, leaders who will change our continent. That's it.
Wow! Woo! I'm even confused as to even who to vote for right here. Are you just as confused as I am? How old are these? Are the future leaders? Presidents, and wow. Well, don't forget, all you have to do is send a text message to short code 1901, text E space and be bold, and then which one of these should win, O'Reilly Senior High School or West African Senior High School. The choice is yours. Thank you very much for watching this debate, and it does continue, the real one, 30th of July at La Palm Royal Beach, 6 to 9 p.m. Thanks again to all our sponsors for making this possible. Let's take a break. We'll be back in a moment.